Yesterday you were able to do the Ekadashi. You finished Ekadashi with fasting or with something with eating the non-grain. Were you able to do Ekadashi? Virendra Prabhu Vidya Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. I did fast.
Okay. I took some boiled potato to school, and then what did I do? Peanuts also I took separately. I heard yesterday in one class that they were saying sabudana also is, probably don't have. But earlier it was said that you can have sabudana or sago. So I need to confirm that. Because sago is not actually a grain, isn't it? It's made out of tapioca pearls, something like that.
But I've heard, Mataji, that in the production of sabudana, when they turn the tapioca into sabudana, in the drying process, there are lots of kire makore that gets included in it.
Oh.
They die along, and that gets pasted into the sabudana. That's why.
Okay.
That's the reason I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so it's nice every time we are able to do an Ekadashi. It's a nice feeling. That's good. Let's begin the class by paying humble obeisances to the Sri Sri Radha Govinda Temple of Mangalore. Krishna willing, I am planning to go this Gaur Purnima, so I'm planning to visit Mangalore. For the first time, I'll be, hopefully meeting Namnishta Prabhu and Aishwarya Mataji. I'm really looking forward. So we'll be seeing these deities, Krishna willing. I pay my humble obeisances to A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya, and his disciple, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, his disciple, His Grace Namnishtha Das Prabhu. नमो ओम विष्णु पादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारणे ओम अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानांजन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपे कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्री गुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्री गुरुं वैष्णवं च श्री रूपं सागर जातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं तं सजीवं सादैवतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादं सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today we have only the two of you. I think Anjali Mataji is on tour till April or something. So I don't know where is Jalpa Mataji. Usually we have Jalpa Mataji also, and we have Prabhakar Prabhu, Roma Mataji. I don't know where they are today. Okay, so let's continue. Chapter 9 has got the following sections. I think we finished till 9.23 almost. So we were actually going to conclude 9.16 to 9. So in the beginning, it is all about hearing about Krishna. It talks about the qualifications and disqualifications. So this section talks about that. Then we understood Aishwarya Jnana very well. We understood how it is so unique and difficult to understand Krishna. He is Achintya, that is, he is someone who cannot be understood, and he is Bhed Abhed, that is, he is similar to us, at the same time he is dissimilar. We are one, at the same time different. So we are one in quality and we are different in quantity. And we also understood about the energies, and again we 7 and 9 chapters are very related. We looked at that. And then we looked at non-worshippers and worshippers, and then we began understanding how Krishna is supreme object of worship. So these bhakti chapters are where Krishna reveals himself more and more. He tells us all the way he actually is in control of the whole world. He's a person, and yet he's expanded into so many different everything is in fact his expansion, if you see. So that very difficult to understand concept we were going through with the help of Srila Prabhupada's lectures, and we also looked at them. So now today we will look at the last two sections, and if we have time, adequate time, we will do chapter 10 a little bit, or we'll just start chapter 10 tomorrow. So let's look at verse 9.23. 9.22 was a very crucial verse. If you will remember, the last verse that we had done, 9.22, it's a very important verse actually. It says, Ananya Shintayanto Mam. So Ananya Shintayanto Mam. Ye Janaha Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So we looked at how Arjunacharya's story, and we saw how Krishna will actually personally come and be at the service of the devotees. He will keep what the things that the devotee needs, and he will also give the things that devotees needs and allow the devotee to have the things that he already has. So then we actually, although here it is shown as material things, but actually it is spiritual more. For a devotee, what Krishna gives, he will give you what you spiritually need in your spiritual journey. So people feel like when they see LIC policy, the thing it is, they can make it totally material. It's actually a lot spiritual. Krishna is, person who will look at you not for your material achievements. He gives more and more value only to your spiritual growth and your spiritual journey. So that's what matters to him. So when he says he will preserve what you already have and he will give you what you lack, it's about taking you onward onto the journey towards Krishna consciousness. So that is how he's going to help you. Now let's look at 9.23. 9.23, Krishna says, Ye'pyanyadevata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya avidhi purvakam. So here he clearly explains that when a man makes sacrifice to other gods, like demigods, O son of Kunti. So son of Kunti, when he says it's a particular, showing off a close relationship, So he says, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, is meant for Krishna. So when a man does any kind of sacrifice, it's actually for Krishna. But when they're not doing it with a true understanding. Avidhi Purvakam is almost like, not the right way. They're not understanding that it's all actually coming from Krishna and it's all leading to Krishna. So that part they're not able to see when people are performing sacrifice to the other gods. So in text 23, Krishna actually explains about how people don't have knowledge due to which they are doing demigod worship. So it's not like you don't respect the demigods, but whenever you are into demigod worship, it is usually automatically you will be able to sense it that you will start asking for material things. Oh, my daughter is marriageable age, may she get married? Or if you are yourself not married, oh, actually I would like to marry, or I don't have children, or I would like to this much money, or I want to get that job, or so something or the other you will be asking for material things. That is the way of the world. Generally when we go to temples or we go to demigod worship, it is for that. So it is without the knowledge of Krishna's supremacy and about this your purpose in life, the human manual that is Gita, you're not aware of that. So you completely stray away from the spiritual path. So it is without knowledge of Krishna's supremacy that demigod worship takes place, and therefore Krishna calls it avidhi purvakam. So he's saying that it is not in the way it should be done. So it's a sign of less intelligence. So one who's really intelligent will worship Krishna. So Krishna is saying that this is basically people who are less intelligent, they don't see that all the different demigod worships are actually offered to Krishna only. Ultimately, Krishna is the source of them also. The three analogies are given for indirect worship of Krishna in the purport of Krishna is given as improper method. Suppose there's a tree and you're constantly you would like the leaves and the flowers and the fruits, so you want the tree to give you more fruits and flowers. You will go on watering the leaves and flowers and fruits, but it is of no use unless you water the roots. The root is Krishna. Krishna is the root of everything, the cause of all causes. Similarly, another example is given of the different parts of the body. So you can't give food to the eyes, to the nose, or to the hands, or to other parts of the body. You need to through using your mouth, you need to get the food reach to your stomach so that the blood will absorb all the energy and things that it requires, the nutritions, and then it goes to all parts of the body. So when you straight away give food into your stomach, all parts of the body are getting nourished. So again, another example is those are not to follow the laws of government and then offering a bribe to the officers. So then, instead of knowing directly what are the laws of a government and simply following it, and there's a leader, instead of that, you want to get things done by bribing the different people in the in the offices. So that it's like that when you're trying to do the demigod worship. So it's because of lack of knowledge. So result of such worship is what happens to them? They simply fall down because they are in the spiritual journey. They're just making progress, and then they are totally deviated or they're distracted by material urges or material desires. So this is discussed in the 9.24th verse. 9.24th verse tells us, Aham hi sarva yajnana bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijananti tatvena taschyavanti te. So Krishna is saying, I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices, and therefore those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature, they fall down. So when they don't see that Krishna is actually the master of all sacrifices, he is the supreme enjoyer, he's only the only one and only with no equal. They don't see that, then they don't see Krishna, his transcendental nature as being beginningless. Instead, they look at Krishna as just another person. Then they fall down. They're not in the spiritual platform. Even if they try to reach somewhere there, they fall down. So 9.25, Krishna will give more clear indication of what happens to different people who do different other prayers and not to the roots of Krishna. So he says, Yanti deva vrata devan pitrin yanti pitrivrataha bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhya janupimam. So here he says that those who worship the demigods, they will go to the demigod. They will take birth among the demigods. So this material world is very, very huge. There are different places where demigods stay. There is the Brahmalok where Brahma lives. There are different lokas for different sorts of people. Those who worship ghosts, they will live among such beings. Those who worship ancestors, they will go to the Pitriloka. And those who worship Krishna, only they will come to Krishna. So it's very clear that it's not like you do whatever, ultimately you come to Krishna. Although Krishna is the cause of everything and he is the original source of everything, but where you are going to go, your mind will go, your energies will flow, and if it is to the demigods, you will go to the world of inside the material world. There are places where demigods reside. You will go with them. If you're forever thinking about your ancestors and all that, you will go with them. If you are a person who is worshipping ghosts, then you will ultimately go and live with the ghosts. You cannot do all the different. You cannot take a ticket to Calcutta and expect to reach Bombay. Now, suppose you want to go to Krishna, suppose say Bombay, you have to take the ticket to Bombay only. You can't take any other ticket and say, oh, I will anyway ultimately reach Bombay. You want to go to Bombay, go directly, take the ticket and go to Bombay, because otherwise you will not reach. You will only reach a different destination. So here, these verses are very important to understand that many people say that, oh, it doesn't matter. You pray to anyone and you ultimately you will reach Krishna. So Krishna is clearly saying, whatever path you choose, the desires that you are harboring, accordingly you will get that place. Only if you turn to me will you come to me. If you want to get Krishna, you have to turn to Krishna alone. Only then you get Krishna. Otherwise, you go whatever else you're doing, according to that, you will get the results. So in 9.26 all the way to 34, the verses are all coming under the last section of this chapter. Most important verse which most people know it is Patram Pushpam Phalam Toya Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakyupahritam Ashnami Prayatatmanah. So Ashnami means eat. So Krishna says that he eats, but the food is still there. So many people, they don't get it. They think that how is it possible? But Krishna is transcendental. They fail to see that Krishna can, even by looking, he is already consuming the prasad. He's already, like his saliva is already there. He's already consumed it and tasted it and made it special for us. So whatever you offer with love, Krishna doesn't need to actually sit and eat the food, but just by looking, he has already eaten it. Ashnami, he has accepted it. So whatever you offer, Krishna is not worried, not worried, and says that it doesn't matter to him about the quantity or the quality or the money that you're spending. It doesn't bother him at all. Just one leaf or a flower. Anybody will have around, you'll have flowers and leaves, or a little bit, just one fruit or a dry fruit or some water. You offer it. Krishna says, I will accept it. So this verse is very important for us to understand that devotional service is very important. Where we actually physically sit and offer. He says, I'm accepting it. What does he mean? He wants it. He wants you to do devotional service. Otherwise, why would he say that? So we need to understand that Krishna wants you to do devotional service by offering these things to him, so that you can get closer to him. You can get Krishna prema. Krishna will then be graceful to you. But you can't expect him to be graceful without you doing even a little bit of your part. So he's telling you clearly, this is what you do. Simply do the small, small things. Then in 9.27 he says, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yat juhoshi dadasi yat yattapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushvamadarpanam. Not only what you're giving for eating and water and fruit and all that, whatever you do, your actions also, whatever yadash, and whatever you're eating, that also you offer and then eat. Yad juhoshi dadati, whatever you're giving, whatever you're giving away in charity, yad tapasyasi, whatever tapa you do, whatever austerities or things that you're doing in this world. Oh, Kaunteya. Again, he's calling Arjuna as, oh, son of Kunti, to show the close relationship. And he says that all austerities you should do as an offering unto me. When you offer everything to Krishna, that is only when it has meaning. Otherwise, actually, any action is meaningless. He tells us later in more explicit terms. So actually this chapter 9 is called, the Raja Vidya. It's a very confidential, the king of knowledge. So we need to understand it very carefully. You have to following acts of, and I do all that you do as an offering to Krishna. Anything you do, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do it as an offering to Krishna. That is called Nishkam. You have no other result. Nishkam, no other desire. Ananya Shintayantum, without any other, desires. What's the difference in offerings and pure devotees and us? Offerings of pure devotees and offerings of us. Let's see. So it is the quality of devotion. Quality of reciprocation also will be in proportion to our devotion. How much devotion we have when we are offering something, accordingly you will be able to find the reciprocation. So let's quickly go through a few lectures. This is from a lecture from Srila Prabhupada describing these two verses that we just read. He had given this lecture in New York in the year 1966, December 16. Srila Prabhupada says that we are in the material world. We are seeking the favor of goddess of fortune or Lakshmi. But in the spiritual world, already there are hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, and they're all serving the Supreme Lord. So he is full, he has nothing to accept from you. Actually, Krishna doesn't need all these things. But he likes that you should offer something. Yet he asks for it. He said, give me. He says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, you may give it to me. It's like a rich father, he does not actually need the help of his son. But if the son, after he grows up, he's earning, he offers something to his father. The father becomes so happy. This is natural. So our connection, he wants us to remain connected. It's our connection with the Supreme Father is like that. He is not in want of it. He doesn't need all your offerings and money or prasad. He doesn't need all that. He does not require anything from me. But it is for my interest. It's for actually me. If I offer something, then I become a very pet of my father. You get your blessings. Your father's love is there with you. He feels so special for you, towards you. And you are blessed because of that. So that is called bhakti of the child. So this is devotional service. So what is bhakti? If you want to understand, simply this is so simply given here. All you need to do is you have to offer with love, and you have to remember Krishna, and Krishna, you become a pet. When you give something back, everything you have is Krishna's. From that, you are offering something, Krishna becomes so happy. That's what. So here the ultimate, even the poorest of poor can offer these four things. Otherwise, if you have got means, or you should prepare a very nice food stuff at Vrindavan. There are temples, there are thousands and thousands of rupees are spent just for making palatable food for the deity. And those food stuff are distributed to the public. Devotees are able to have it. Not only devotees, even non-devotees who come to the temple, they also are being blessed by eating that. If you ask somebody, please come and hear the Bhagavatam, they don't even bother. Most people, they don't want to sit and listen to anything about the Gita or Bhagavatam. But instead, if you make some nice prasad, offer it to Krishna, Krishna has accepted it, then the food is blessed. You can offer this palatable food stuff, like, as Krishna prasad. And then that they will all be ready because so tasty looking, they want to have it. So that is one of the process of devotional service that we should offer very sumptuously to the Lord, and the prasada should be distributed. The Lord is not actually taking away anything to his kingdom. The prasad comes back to you. So if you eat that and if you distribute that sort of prasadam to the public, then you are doing a great service because the public is then going to be getting Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Jalpa Mataji, nice to see that you have joined also.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. So we have just looking at verses 9.26-27, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam and Yajjuhoshi Yadashnashi. So this is so popular. We are seeing some Prabhupada's lectures based on that. So Srila Prabhupada is talking about how you offer anything to the Lord and then you distribute that prasad. It is very, very good thing to do. But if you eat and if you distribute that, yeah, you're doing great service, and the public is also getting God consciousness. So it is through the jihva, right? Through the tongue only we start getting the devotion, either through chanting or eating of prasada. So we all need to establish and propagate Krishna consciousness. In the hospital, in charitable societies, in industrial cities, everywhere, it's a good idea to distribute some prasad and to chant Hare Krishna, and you will see that there will be some results. Srila Prabhupada is advising everyone to do that, to make prasad and to distribute it. It's a nice service to do. You want peace? Here the next he continues asking. Srila Prabhupada is asking when he's explaining 9.26-27. He's going back to the verse 5.29. Bhoktaram yajna tapasa sarvaloka maheshwaram. So in this verse 5.29, he gives us a peace formula. He says that the sages who know Krishna as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, he is a benefactor and well-wisher of everyone. Once he knows this small truth, if he really understands, then he attains peace from all material miseries. The moment you are feeling materialistically miserable, you can be very certain that you are in lust. It is only when you are feeling a pang for, I haven't chanted enough today, or I haven't read the Gita or Bhagavatam today. Those are the real, the good ones, the good type of worries and stress, which we should take. But we should not take stress for material benefits. We should simply acknowledge there is a process of worship in Ganga. So this is what I had also said in an earlier class. The Ganga river is flowing, or the Yamuna or the Sangam where they are, and people will go there early morning. They will take some water, they will pray, and they'll put the water back. So it is, that is, I think, what he's talking about here. Let's read it. It's a very wide and long river from Himalaya and Bay of Bengal, and the long river tracts of land they consider to be a very sacred place. Thousands of people, they take bath. Winter season, summer season, it doesn't matter. So there is a process of worshipping. After bathing, they'll stand up, waist deep in water, they will take some water and they'll offer. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So Mother Ganges, I am offering this with respect to you. This is the process. So suppose you take a handful of water from Ganges. What is the loss of the Ganga? The Ganges river is hardly going to, it's not going to matter to her at all if you just take one little handful of water. And then what do? You're offering that handful to Ganga Devi herself. So this is, it's like that. Krishna is just saying, offer. I know everything belongs to Krishna, but still he's saying, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, little bit you offer to me. He wants us to do devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, he's so clear about it. Or if you take it out of natures and you're taking so many things, is it a loss for Krishna? No. There's no gain, no loss. But why is Krishna saying that, saying this, do this? It's for our interest. He wants us to offer and he wants us to be blessed and get purified. That's why he's saying that. So Arya Samaji is here. Srila Prabhupada mentions that there are many Arya Samajis. So one stream of the Hindu society very long time ago. And in those days, there was a disruption of original culture. It was at that time when Buddha had come and he had disrupted. There's no Veda, there's no God. At that time, from the Hindus also, there was an offshoot called the Arya Samajis. So there are so many isms which came up. Arya Samajist was one of them. And what did the Arya Samajis at that point of time do? They would also simply criticize all the scriptures. They didn't want deity worship. They did not believe in having any deities or gods in their house. So once Arya Samaji asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, do you think God eats? So just because, God says, I eat. Here Krishna is saying, Ashnami. I eat. The word Ashnami means I eat. So whom should I believe? Krishna is asking that man, the Arya Samaji who asked him the question, you think God is eating? And then Srila Prabhupada answers, Krishna is saying, Aham Ashnami, in this 9.26 verse, he's saying that. So Prabhupada is asking, should I believe what Krishna is saying in the Gita, or should I believe a loafer like you? So, and I'm a third person. So Prabhupada is talking about himself as third person, and he's saying that I accept that I am fool number one, but whom should I accept? Should I accept you or should I accept Krishna? So what are you? Like, what is your position? You're just another ordinary man, and you're saying that God does not eat. But God is saying, I eat in the Gita. So whom should I believe? But this is a question of faith. If you have faith in the Gita, that Krishna has come and spoken this Gita to us, there is no doubt that Krishna is saying that I eat. That means, yes, he eats. That's it. There's no second thoughts about it. So, Srila Prabhupada says, your experimental knowledge and so-called defective reasons, arguments, and philosophy, that will not be applicable in the transcendental field. Material people who are purely material, they can never understand Krishna because they're not at all able to see that there is something called transcendentalism. Everything is not what you see. You are believing every sphere of your life. Srila Prabhupada is saying that you're believing every sphere of your life. When you purchase a ticket, you're going, you're going to believe that the aeroplane is going to take you there. Whether it will not, I mean to say, whether it will crash or something, if you go on arguing about different things, it doesn't matter. You want to go by aeroplane, you take the ticket, you go. There's no argument about it. That much of faith you have. So all Vedic literature is teaching us to accept the authorized bona fide spiritual master or acharya. This is also a big stigma. Even among us in the ISKCON also, there are some Ritviks who believe that we should only believe what Prabhupada has said and we should not accept any other guru coming down the line. But Srila Prabhupada himself has said that we should have a person who is a devotee, who is a pure devotee, and you can choose that by understanding it is a person who is not after your material benefits. He only wants you to be a Krishna conscious person. Such a person is a true, guru. You can take him, a live guru. So Srila Prabhupada wanted people to have live gurus. They have connection with pure devotees. So this acceptance of spiritual master is also promoted by the Vedic literature. So Krishna is actually the head of all the different teachers. He is the principal acharya. From Krishna, Brahma himself had learned the Vedic literature from Krishna only. From Brahma, it was taught to Narada. This is actually our lineage which is being spoken about here. And then from Narada, Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva was taught to Madhvacharya. Now this is very important. From Madhvacharya, the whole parampara system comes down to our Srila Prabhupada. So we have to believe that. Mahajano yena gata se pasa pantha. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, dry arguments are not conclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. So Muni is actually someone who has found out something special. Simply by studying Vedas, which are variegated, you cannot come to the right path. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of the unadulterated, self-realized person. And so the Shastras confirm that you should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajanas. Now in the Bhagavatam, you also have 12 Mahajanas, the great souls, and have set an example of how to become a pure devotee. You have to follow their footsteps. You have to follow the Acharya. Everywhere the footsteps of Acharyas are followed, just like in Srila Prabhupada is talking about America. They followed mostly the footprints of Jesus Christ. So in that way, or any Acharya, because Acharya comes here to teach about Krishna consciousness, or in the case of Jesus Christ, God consciousness. That is their business. They have no other business. That is called a bona fide acharya. Someone says, I'm God, he's fool number one. At once you can reject him. So only one who teaches the message of God, he is an acharya. So Vedic literature teaches us that by arguments, we cannot reach the supreme truth. Tarko pratishtha Shri Shrutayo Vibhinna. You should not accept the progressive path of Mahajanas. You should accept the Mahajanas advocate, not by purchasing books from market and reading. That will not help you. You cannot learn by your own study, but you need to listen to these great Mahajanas. So 9.28 says, Shubha Shubha Phale Phalerevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanai Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupaishyasi. So in this verse 9.28, Krishna is saying that in this way you will be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. So this is talking about karma, vikarma and akarma. So when you're doing akarma, you're not having auspicious or inauspicious results. Well, how will you do akarma? With your mind fixed on Krishna. In this principle of renunciation, you're not having any sense of belonging towards anything. You will be liberated and you will come back to me. So 9.29, Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshosi na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayi te teshu chapyaham. So Krishna says, I am equal to all. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshosi. So it's quite, um, obvious that Krishna is not going to be envious of anyone, nor is he partial towards anyone. Both are not there. He has equal love for everyone. And he says that, but whoever renders, but still there's a but over there. Krishna says that if you render service to me, what is service? Devotional service, Patana Pushpam Param Toyam, or chanting, all these are services. If you render service with devotion, unto me in devotion, then such a person becomes my friend and I am also a friend to him. And 9.30, Krishna says, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mamananya bhag sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because then he is properly situated. So here in this picture we can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Jagai and Madai. So, they are performing such abominable actions, and how? Because of the mercy of Nityananda, they ultimately take up devotional service. That's entirely because of the mercy of them, because they are actually great sinners, Jagai and Madai. So in text 30, what we have seen is, we have looked at now once more the most confidential knowledge. Krishna is saying that even if a devotee is imperfect, Krishna considers him as a saintly person because he is properly situated in his determination. And he quickly becomes righteous and he attains lasting peace. So this is what is spoken in this verse. Next, 9.31 talks about Chipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvachantim Nigachati Kaunteya Priti Janihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Name Bhakta Pranashyati is very, very important. That is, my devotee will never fall. Kaunteya Pratijananti. And he says, Kaunteya, I want you to declare to the world. Why does he say you declare boldly instead of himself saying, look, I declare? He says you declare, because sometimes Krishna, for the sake of keeping his devotees' words, he will even break his own promise. For example, he had promised not to pick up the weapon, but to protect Arjuna in the battlefield. When Bhishma had become real Bhishma, he had become, going to killing everybody left and right, taking up a ferocious form, and Arjuna was not able to stand up and fight back because he just didn't want to fight that at that point of time. He was suddenly feeling not great to be fighting with them, and Bhishma was left and right shooting arrows. So Krishna at that point of time gets very furious and he picks up a weapon, and he actually does that to keep the promise of Bhishma, who's also a great devotee. So Bhishma says, I will make Krishna pick up the weapon. And actually, to keep Bhishma's promise, he picks up the weapon. So that is how Krishna is. For the sake of his devotee, he will even break his own promise. So he says that, okay, fine, so don't listen to my promise. You are the devotee. Your words will never, never, fail. He says, my devotee will never fail. And so you can declare this because Krishna will ensure that the devotee's words are never broken. He keeps the devotee is the most important. So he says that Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigachati. And he gets, the person gets lasting peace if he becomes a devotee. Quickly he will become righteous also. So 9.32 Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya ye pisyu papayonayaha striyo vaishya statha shudraha tepi yanti parangatim. So many people get very offensive when they talk about how, Krishna is saying Striyo, Vaishya, Tatha Shudra, even they are getting, Param Gatim. So Mam hi Partha Vrapashrita, a person who will come and he will take my shelter. And he says whether it is of whatever lower birth, and he will put women or vaishyas who are merchants and shudras. In fact, in today's world, everybody, Srila Prabhupada says, is a shudra. Nobody is above being a shudra because all are just working for money. Such people are shudras. People who work for money are shudras. Those who are higher, who work to protect the nation or who work only for giving knowledge, like the brahmanas, they don't accept any salary and they want nothing in return. Such people are highly elevated people. They are in high, not highly elevated. I mean to say they are in a higher stature. Shudras are the ones who will simply work to get money and they all the time want to sleep. They want to just finish off their work and go to sleep. So these are the characteristics of the Kali Yuga people. So all are actually Shudras. So there is no difference. But why women are put in the categories? Because women, it is difficult for a woman to take to renunciation or take to spirituality generally because of her nature. She is a person who gives birth to children, so she automatically has this attachment to them. So it's very difficult for the woman to take to spirituality. But then Krishna says that even those who are whether you're born as a woman or a Shudra or a Vaishya, even you can reach the ultimate supreme destination of love of Krishna if you just take shelter. So that is actually, the nobody needs to feel bad over here because everybody is firstly a Shudra, and secondly because he's saying that everyone there is equality in this respect. There is no one who is far from getting Krishna. Every Krishna is ready and open to all human beings, everyone. So again, continue on the most confidential knowledge. What we see here is that even unqualified classes also achieve Krishna by his mercy. Usually those who are in pure Sattva Gun. So those who are in Kshatriyas or Shudras, they are mostly in Rajogun or Rajogun mixed with Tamogun or in Tamogun. Usually they need to first come to Sattva Gun to be able to start, getting devotion, feeling that bhakti. But actually, Krishna says that from anywhere you can straight away come to bhakti. Bhakti is like the elevator. So you can, whatever class you are, wherever you are, no distinction in classes. This was established in devotional service. There is no division between high class, low class. Everyone is, eligible to become a bhakta. Once more, this is, I think so, Jagai Malai's pictures. So it indicates the power of devotional love, service, and pure devotees. Most simple man taking the shelter of a pure devotee can be purified even from the lowest of men, even from Chandala. So we have a reference of Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18. And then we see Mad Pashritya. So if you take Krishna's shelter, so one who takes complete shelter of Krishna, you become a greater than great Jnanis and Yogis. Because pure devotees can enable people of other lower classes to attain higher perfection. They also have, when you become a pure devotee, you also gain more power in making other people devotees because of your purity, because you want nothing in return. Now 9.34, I think is the last verse and it's a very important verse. It gets repeated again in chapter 18 with a few words difference. So I think Ravi Prabhu has not posted the attendance link today. Ravi Prabhu is not here. Kuhu Mataji has joined today. Hare Krishna, Kuhu Mataji. So we've come to this last verse. This is really important. It says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru Mame vaishyasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaha. Here we can see Krishna saying, engage your mind, manmana bhava madbhakto. This is my favorite line. All the time think of me. So you might think, oh, it's so difficult. But Krishna will tell us later, that you can do it simply by practice and detachment. And they go hand in hand. So he says that you should always think of me. Madhya Jimam Namaskuru. You have to always do worship to Krishna. And then Ma me Vaishyasi Yuktvavam. You have to be engaged, completely absorbed. Atmana Matparani. You will surely, such a person will surely come to Krishna. So Krishna consciousness is only means for deliverance from material world. Why do we follow all these rules which Srila Prabhupada has made, trying to chant 16 rounds? So that we become detached from the material world simply by chanting. And then we get the ultimate goal. So worship Krishna directly is advised by the Lord himself. Krishna is telling us, engage your mind. This is a summary actually. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. So let's quickly look at a few lines from lectures of Srila Prabhupada on the last verse of today's chapter 9. Srila Prabhupada says, this is the process of devotional service. It is not very difficult. Everyone can do devotional service. What do you need to do? Think of God, offer obeisances to God, render some service unto God, and become a party of the God. So here he uses a very nice analogy. I actually love the way Srila Prabhupada explains. He says, just like we identify in the world, right, with some party. Okay, I think Congress is good. I think BJP is good. I think, whatever. So you have different parties, either politically or even socially. You like this gathering, you like that. At a workplace, you want to be with this group of people, or if there's a big family gathering, you choose some sort of people. So in socially or religiously, there is partyism. Even economically, people will go and try to mix with people of their same equal, monetary status. So we have so many fields of activities, and each and every field we have a party feeling. You can't avoid that. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving example of Christians also. You see a group of people, you say, okay, these people will be together. We are Christians, and we are Jews, I am Hindu. So of course, this is religiously and also socially in India, there is party also. We can't avoid the parties. And Srila Prabhupada says, oh, ladies and gentlemen who are present here, I ask you, do you not belong to any party? Can you deny that, oh, I don't belong to any party, or everyone belongs to some party? So Srila Prabhupada declares that, human beings have a tendency to belong to some party. Now he says spiritualism. Spiritualism means that we identify ourselves, okay, I am God's party. I'm not in any party, I'm Krishna's party. Whatever Krishna wants, I will do. So that's all. That is spiritualism. So when everybody else is actually a materialist. There's so many things. That's why the materialists are called crazy by the spiritualists. So here, Srila Prabhupada actually talks about how materialistic people will say, these people are so crazy, simply sitting and chanting. And then they, the chanting people will say, these people are so crazy running after material things. So there is partyism. Materialists also tell spiritualists that they are crazy, and we, that is, if we consider ourselves to be Krishna conscious, as of now, let us consider, although there's a long way to become truly Krishna conscious, and we will be like, these people are crazy fellows. So that's how people get into that. Partyism feeling is natural. Srila Prabhupada says, who is wrong? Who will decide which party is wrong? World is going on in partyism. Each opposite party is saying the other party is crazy. So take any common man. Srila Prabhupada says, not yourself, not myself. Let's take a common man. If you ask him, what are you? He'll be immediately, he'll have the concept of I am a body. So he will give you some description. I am Christian, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, I am so and such, I am Mrs. So and so. Everything, whatever he says, or is because of the body. All is related to the body. So when you say I'm American, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that, you just happen to be born in that land which is America, which is an artificial name given by human beings. The land is actually not America, not India. It doesn't have a name. Land is land. But we are the one giving some, name to it. We put boundaries, we give name. This is India, this is Europe, this is Asia. Actually, there is no real difference. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Just like we can say from historic point of view of Vedic literature, this whole world was initially Ilavarta Varsha. So Srimad Bhagavatam tells us that the whole world initially was Ilavarta Varsha. Later on, the reign of one great emperor happened, which is Bharata. And he changed it called Bharat. He changed the whole name of the Iravatas as Bharat Varsha. So whole planet at that time was Bharat Varsha. And as the days go on, some part of the world was like, separated from the Bharat Varsha, and then maybe Europe or whatever different places came. So why are we saying all this? We are saying all this to understand that we actually, when we identify ourselves with the body, it's a crazy thing to do, because it's just you happen to be born on this land. And anyone who claims God's property as God's land as God's earth as your own property, Srila Prabhupada says he's a crazy man. So it's a challenge to be not able to think like that. Come out of the thinking that I'm the body. Let anyone establish that this is his property, this is his body. You are actually simply by nature who you are. By the pricks of nature, you are put into some body, and you are put under some consciousness, and you are dictated by the laws of nature. And then you are so mad after that, you want to hold on to that. So this is what Srila Prabhupada will be explaining in Bhagavad Gita. He had already explained in this verse 3, in the 3rd chapter, 27th verse, he had said, Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. He says the bewildered soul who thinks that I am the doer. Right? We again come across this in chapter 18 also. The thinking that I am the doer is such a wrong, is such a bewildered, confused state of mind. So everyone, Srila Prabhupada says that nature will pull everyone by the ear, like a teacher will pull the ear of a student who doesn't do what he's supposed to. Similarly, we're all going to be pulled by our ears under the clutches of material nature. We are pulled, and we are being put into this body, that body. Now, unfortunately, now we have a human body. But you don't see that there are actually so many bodies, and anyone you would take by your tendencies. There are 8 million bodies or 8.4 lakh bodies, and by laws of nature, you can be put anywhere. You're completely under the grip of nature. This time, fortunately or unfortunately, we have a human body. Next time, it may be a body of a dog or a body of a god. That will depend upon the work I'm doing. But the laws of nature is always working, and we are not the authority. Srila Prabhupada says that everything is done by the laws of nature, and we think I am something, or I am independent, oh, I did this. This whole egoism, this foolish ahamkara vimudhatma. So foolish it is to think like that. Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us it's false egoism. Shankaracharya in his mission, he just started by explaining to people, look, you're not the body, you're spirit soul, aham brahmasmi. So he was just trying to establish that basic idea. And then still when we try to realize self, there is foolishness. Again, Maya takes over after that also. What is that? Somebody is trying to say, I am not this body. He understands I am not the body, I am soul. But then what does he say after that? He says, oh, void. Yeah, I'm not the body, so everything is void. And then he's impersonal. People have another different viewpoint. Spirit soul, that means voidism. So there are philosophers, impersonalists who say that when the body is finished, my identity is finished. But actually, the identity does not finish. Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example, using reference also to the verses. He says that now I'm in the body, but still I am. I am. There's an identity to the person, the soul there. It's just like a vehicle. Yantra Rudhani, right? So we are in a vehicle. Just like a person sitting in the car is moving according to your desire. The car is not moving independently. So when you are in the car, you are moving the car according to the way you want. Suppose you're out of the car, the personality is gone. It's not that the person in the car is gone, but that doesn't mean that the personality of the person is gone. So thinking that just because you come out of the body, you become void. Srila Prabhupada explains is a very silly thing to think. You can't just become void once you come out of the body. The body is like a car. And it is said in the Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. That's what I was just saying. So he says that Supreme Lord is situated in the heart and is directing the wanderings. And we are, actually seated as if we're sitting on a machine, which is made up of material energy. Intelligent person will not be crazy. He will understand I am not the body. And he will also understand what is his duty. And as a spirit soul, what is the duty? To understand our constitutional position. Manmana bhava madbhakto. We have to understand this is what we should be doing. And in Krishna consciousness movement, there are so many activities. You can listen to lectures, you can get up early in the morning, you can do Mangalarti, you can offer some of your parts of your salary to the temples who are continuously working hard to propagate Krishna consciousness, and it's much needed in today's world. You can all the time try to learn some verses, you can chant every time. Constantly Krishna consciousness, once you come into, you have no time for anything. And the Srila Prabhupada's books are so endless, so much of literature. So the society Srila Prabhupada says, called Krishna Consciousness Society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, 24 hours, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada through the movement teaches us how we can continuously do service to Krishna. So with that, we come to an end. A little early, I'm ending. We come to an end of this chapter 9, and we have completed all the different sections. And so let's end the class today. Let me have a prayer. If you have any reflections, please share. I think Ravi Prabhu has not shared the attendance, so I'll just note it down and I'll let him know. Or maybe next time you can have both. Pancha kalpataru bhyasya kripa sindhu evacha patitaram pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Virendra Prabhu, Jalpa Mataji, Kuhu Mataji, Vidya Mataji, would you like to say something? Thank you for joining the class today.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Not related to this, but I just wanted to check on that. When a person leaves the body with lot of pain, like through illness or something, so is it their karma? Because the one who is sitting beside the family also has to, even after they leaving the body, they have to go through this pain for a long time, as long as they live. Because this is a personal experience. So so is it their karma? Because though alive also we are facing losing them and thinking of their memories and all these things.
Yes, Mataji. So, yes, it is anything that we are facing is either karma or it is leading to our spiritual growth. So the other day I was listening to a lecture, the time when we have somebody in the family who is on the deathbed or who is dying actually a moment of knowledge. It's actually a moment of enlightenment for everyone in that family. For a moment, at least for momentarily, you'll find everyone wondering, what is this life? It's so temporary, isn't it? When you have someone in the family who is going through a near death experience, going to experience death very soon, that whole painful experience actually is a spiritual growth, because you just end up thinking at that moment, what is this life? It's so futile. When you're reading scriptures, you again think, you keep realizing how temporary, how ephemeral everything is, so meaningless actually in the material world. That realization and that knowledge comes to what in these movies. One more moment he talks about, I think, when you yourself are going through pain. He says that when the person himself who is going through severe pain, actually Krishna is trying to lead him to understand, that this material world is dukhalaya. He wants him to understand that. So these things happen either due to a karma, or it is just to help us understand that, what is our true purpose, that this world is a dukhalaya, and we need to, reach Krishna's world. So these realizations Krishna wants to give us. So some people get it at that point in time, some people have a longer way to go. So I don't know whether I'm answering your question, Mataji. But again, that is one section, and another part of can be also just consider that if you're chanting all the time Krishna, however much pain you have, Krishna will himself help you to remember him. So you only need to chant all daily and make it a daily routine. Krishna will help you to remember at the moment of death, however painful the death will be. He will help you to remember him. So you can be sure that if you're regularly remembering Krishna, he will help you. So these are two aspects. Yes, they could be because of karma. They could be because just Krishna getting us, to understand the our spiritual nature. So there was a quotation, which was spoken by someone. I think so. Chaitanya Prabhu had said that we should remember that we are not human beings in this world going through a spiritual journey. We are actually spiritual beings. We're just going through a human experience. See, this realization comes when we meet with someone who is in his deathbed, who's going through pain, who's just going to die anytime. Person who's dying also gets that kind of a emotion and knowledge, that realization comes. Not always, but it's meant to be that way. Thank you so much, Jalpa Mataji. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vidya Mataji, for being here. Hare Krishna. I hope I answered the question. Hare Krishna.